No fines, no rules. How Doc Rivers lost control of the Bucks as Giannis ran the show. Comments paint a picture of Milwaukee team with a troubling lack of order. The Milwaukee Bucks season ended badly enough on the court, but Miles Turner's latest comments suggest the problems inside the NBA team may have been even deeper than the standings showed. Turner, who joined Milwaukee last offseason on a 4-year, $108.9 million contract, described a team culture under former coach Doc Rivers where players were late for flights, missed meetings, and faced little consequence for it. The veteran center made the remarks on the Game Recognize Game podcast with WNBA star Breanna Stewart, offering one of the clearest public windows yet into Milwaukee's disappointing 32-50 season. The most eye-catching part came when Turner discussed the Bucks' travel habits. "Bro, we literally, if the plane took off at 2 o'clock, we weren't leaving until 4:30, Turner said. "I'm being so serious, bro. It was crazy. Guys were hours late to the plane. It got to the point where I just knew not to show up until like an hour after they said the plane was taking off. It was crazy." When Stewart asked who was the worst offender, Turner answered without hesitation. "That's easy. Giannis," Turner said. "Giannis is going to show up whenever he wants, really, you know? I think that it kinda just came with the territory." Bucks' discipline problem comes into focus. Turner's comments were damaging because they did not sound like a one-off complaint. They described a broader lack of structure around a team that was supposed to be competing near the top of the Eastern Conference. According to Turner, Rivers didn't use fines as a way to enforce basic standards. Guys were showing up to film whenever they wanted to show up. Guys were missing meetings, Turner said. "It was one of the craziest things I've personally ever experienced." He added that Rivers didn't fine anyone ever, which stood out to him after years in locker rooms where lateness to flights, treatment, or film sessions carried immediate consequences. Rivers has since stepped down as Bucks coach after a difficult season, and Milwaukee has hired former Memphis Grizzlies coach Taylor Jenkins to replace him. Jenkins now walks into a situation where restoring accountability may be just as important as any tactical adjustment. Giannis' future adds urgency to Milwaukee reset. Turner's remarks also landed during an already sensitive stretch for the Bucks. Milwaukee is again reportedly open to trade offers for Giannis Antetokounmpo, with the franchise hoping to settle his future before the 2026 NBA draft. The Bucks can either work toward a long-term commitment with their two-time MVP or begin a franchise-altering rebuild built around whatever assets a trade would bring. Co-owner Jimmy Haslam has acknowledged the uncertainty directly. "We will do what's best for Giannis and what's best for the organization," Haslam said during Taylor Jenkins' introductory press conference. That decision now comes against the backdrop of Turner's claims. If the Bucks keep Giannis, Jenkins must re-establish a culture where the franchise star remains empowered, but not above the basic rules governing everyone else. If they trade him, Turner's comments may become part of the explanation for why the era finally became too unstable to save. Either way, Milwaukee's offseason is no longer just about roster construction. It's about discipline, standards, and whether the Bucks can rebuild trust inside a locker room that Turner made sound far too loose for a team with championship ambitions.